Hey boys and girls, welcome to another super exciting, outrageous toy review. My friend Kieran is here today so we can talk about the G.I. Joe Street Fighter 2 action figures.
Yeah, these are awesome. Like we were talking about the Ninja Force in the last one, this blew my mind when it was coming out at first.
Right.
Because you didn't, nowadays, Street Fighter, Capcom and everything, they have you see toys for them everywhere. You never saw Street Fighter stuff other than the arcade machine or the video game. So to see a commercial that was Street Fighter 2 G.I. Joes, I went nuts.
It's the most lethal G.I. Joe team yet! Capcom Street Fighter 2!
That's what I was going to bring up right away too, is that nowadays, especially if you're a toy collector, you know everything when it's coming out. Like you see it online. I'm literally watching Saturday morning cartoons in like 5th grade. And a commercial starts. It's got Duke in it.
Yep.
I think it's another one of these live-action G.I. Joe commercials. And the next thing I know, like Blanca and E Honda and all these guys in amazing costumes as the Street Fighters are there. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And I could tell, like, just in the split second, the 30 seconds of the commercial, that, like, some of them seemed almost like reused G.I. Joe figures. Yeah. But, on an old TV, and our TVs were not this big back then.
No.
I remember thinking, I gotta see this commercial again, but get closer to the TV. And I kept watching and watching, and they didn't play the commercial again that Saturday. And I was so bummed. But that commercial blew my mind.
That was the one that's like, what's a Dawson? And he just kicks Duke in the face. He's like, oh!
What's a Dawson? Oh!
And it's like, they're so dumb. These were just, it was just crazy to see Street Fighter on television in a mainstream setting that was, when I was a kid, I didn't think, you would tell your parents about Street Fighter 2 and they're just like, nobody knows what this is. For them for G.I. Joe to pick up on it was definitely forward thinking. You didn't just see any, there were no video game. Mario is like what everybody knew. You never saw Street Fighter and stuff
and there weren't a lot of toys for any of the video game stuff.
No.
Like there was little gimmicky Mario stuff, but mostly like Happy Meal toys or like little figurines, but not like an action figure line.
Yeah. The only thing though, they ended up making them all weird and giving them bizarre items and stuff that they really don't need. I understand, like, you don't want to just get a blank G.I. Joe figure and everything. I mean, you lose the weapons anyway. Right. Everybody loses them, but seeing as we have over here, we have Blanca somewhere, or Blanca, with a giant grappling hook rocket launcher. Like, I can understand Chun-Li's got a sword, Dalsim has a bow and arrow. Like, Guile has a gun. Okay, he's military, it makes sense. But Blanca is a guy from the Brazilian jungle that just lives there, and he has like, imagine if he shows up to Bison's fight, and he just has this giant rocket launcher and blasts Bison in the face. Just kills him.
So they really wanted to have an action gimmick in this line. At this point in the G.I. Joe trend, it was like that we have to have gimmicks because we need to compete with Power Rangers and X-Men. So every one of these figures is either a reused Ninja Force guy that has like a built-in karate chop, or if they use parts from standard G.I. Joes, they're like, oh, spring-loaded missile launcher, here you go. Yep. So everyone has a feature, and some are executed better than others. They really did have a challenge. If somebody came to you and said, okay, you can use whatever G.I. Joe parts you want, and we're going to give you just new heads. Make all the Street Fighter guys. That's really tough.
Yeah.
There's a few tweaks I would have done, and maybe they didn't have the molds. Like, Quick Kick has bare feet. That would have been better for Ryu and Ken. But maybe that mold was in Europe somewhere. Cranking out Action Force figures or something. But they did as best they could. There's definitely some weird issues, though. I
mean, Balrog over here with his, like, straps he has and everything. Other than that, everything's, like, pretty decent. Yeah. Blanca, too, though, he's wearing, like, full pants with boots. Right. It's a little bit weird. They definitely made them, like, a little bit more military-ish. Yeah. And Ryu and Ken both have, like, full ninja suits rather than just a gi. But Dalsim's figure was pretty good. I remember having him as a kid.
That was one of the reasons I bought him as a kid, was he was actually, like, 100% new. E Honda, Dalsim, Sagat, and maybe one other one were like brand new and actually look like the guys.
E Honda is one of the most like impressive ones because they fully made him look like E Honda.
Absolutely,
he's big and everything. He's like chunkier figure.
It's a shame they gave him a kick though. His attack is that hand slap. Like, that should have been a karate.
Yeah, I guess they were just like,
we got this big figure. We can build in this kick.
I don't know why they gave him a kick though. And the thing is too, like now the one that, like he
doesn't want to
he's
stand.
He's like help. His kick just won't.
His leg won't lock down.
Yeah. Was it supposed to?
I think it did originally, but I have yet to find one.
I had never seen
that stays.
Yeah, I've never seen him. I could never find any Honda figure. I'm sure, like, because you would go to the store, and the only ones that were left were usually, like, Dalsim, sometime, and Zangief, I remember, too, which Zangief is weird, too. He has, like, a fuzzy vest.
He's wearing Naugahyde, one of the Dreadnought's torsos.
Okay.
But he's got the Cobra Bat version 2 legs.
Yeah,
so he's got, like, circuit boards on his legs for
which
no reason.
You can't really see from here, but he has, like, skin-colored, like, robo legs, pretty much.
It's super weird. And so, like, the only good bare chest in the whole G.I. Joe line is Road Pig.
Mm-hmm.
So that became Guile.
Yep.
It became Blanca. They really should have used it for Zangief, but I think they felt like they were probably overusing that mold.
Mm-hmm.
If I were a Hasbro designer and I could have, like, worked my magic on this, I would have used it for Blanca and Zangief, and I would have used Sergeant Slaughter's torso for Guile, because the whistle would have looked like dog tags, close enough.
It makes sense.
But even like M. Bison, to get a fairly plain shirt that doesn't have, like, grenades and stuff on it, they used Hardball, the baseball player guy's shirt. He's wearing a baseball jersey.
Yeah.
And then they retooled or recolored a handful of them to be vehicle drivers. Yep. So World Championship Edition, Chun-Li and Blanca came with the Beast Blaster. They have like a Mad Max car they drive around together.
That's it. They do that in the video game. You didn't know?
Right.
That's part of the game.
Or the Beast Blaster. It comes with Championship Edition Blanca and Chun-Li and fires double trouble missiles. Street Fighter 2!
That's the car that they blow up that they beat up.
They rebuild it into the Beast Blaster.
that Honda or whatever it is. I like the play set that they have on the back of these too.
So that was the Toxo Sludge play set
which I had that
from
one
Echo
with
Wars,
the vat.
and they turned it into a dojo. It's like the Dragon Fortress or whatever.
because it looks like the platform that was on top, instead of having the vat that you just put water in to make them,
they just added like a swing you can hang a guy from. There's little cardboard bisons and Sagat you can punch and they spin around.
Bison is at the top with a giant rocket launcher, of course, but he's just pointing it at nobody. Everyone else is like doing stuff. Chun-Li's hanging upside down for some reason, and
she's in the trap.
I remember the Sonic Boom tank too.
It's exactly the Cobra Parasite. It's just just put it. It actually works really well in that color.
Guile sitting in it just like. It's just like up in there. That's one thing my friend used to always bring up is funny. He's like, how do all the G.I. Joes stay alive when all their vehicles are they just plop them down into and they're completely exposed in the middle of a firefight and everything? Like if you shot a missile off right next to Guile in this, you'd completely torch him.
Right.
Or he'd have like no eardrums or anymore. He'd just be deaf.
It's not as tough as Championship Edition Guile going boom in his Sonic Boom tank.
Also, the artwork is I don't know where this artwork came from that they used for the character portraits.
I think it was used in Nintendo Power.
It might have been, yeah. It's not. I have the Street Fighter art book, and it's all the official Street Fighter work from the original game, Street Fighter 1, all the way up until Street Fighter 4th, because that's when I bought it.
Okay.
But none of this art is featured, and it's some of the worst. I think, like,
they're really
it's good,
odd.
but it like Ryu looks awful.
Well, and the cross-cell art on the back isn't even the same art that's on the front.
No, it's weird.
I do think it's interesting that the art on the front is slightly closer to the action figures. Like Ryu has long sleeves here. Like, he looks a little bit more like his figure. They're still, like, and Chun-Li has the Scarlet outfit on.
This was the art I meant here.
Yeah, really
this stuff is weird.
Like,
you can't see, like, Ken and Ryu, but they look so weird. And this was also used in the Tiger Electronic game.
Right, yeah.
Which I remember seeing, I just have never seen that art again, and it's really hard to find those pictures online. Because I was trying to find them as like a joke.
Gotcha.
And it's so hard to just find that artwork.
I do like also that they included the Game Pro little
the
guys next to the figure.
Sometimes they're garbage though. Like, do you have the Chun-Li one?
Yeah.
Hers is just like a punch or something like that. Like, what is it? If an opponent tries to muscle in too close to Chun-Li, tap strong. So basically, just punch him.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then use a fierce move for a standing 2-hit move.
Right.
So it teaches you how to hit punch twice.
It doesn't teach you how to do any of her special moves.
No, it's not like a combo. It's not, like, I guess, like, right here is the 2-in-1 Sonic Boom for Guile. And you have a charge back for a Sonic Boom. Push the controller towards the opponent, and midway through the motion, press Fierce. Now complete the Fierce Sonic Boom, and you'll score 2 hits in one. But it doesn't show the Sonic Boom, it's showing the flash.
Right.
It's like, really, like, who did this? They didn't know what they were doing with it.
Probably Capcom sent some stuff over, and somebody just found some screenshots somewhere.
Like the Blanca's too is just it's just his medium punch, which does a headbutt, and it's like this hit will hit twice, and it's like you're just telling me how to hit the medium punch button when they get close enough. That's something I knew.
Killer tips here.
I knew this even when these figures came out. I'd been playing Street Fighter 2 for like a couple years by now, you know?
I had really hoped when these guys came out, or after they had been out for a little while, that they would add the extra characters like Cammy and DJ and those guys, and they never did it. I was a little disappointed with that because it would have been fun if they had done a second year of these guys.
This was 1990. Yeah, so these 93. Were 1993, and I think Super and Super Turbo came out in 94, I believe. I think Super was 94 and Super Turbo was 95. So they would have been like later, but they could have come out with the later lines that came out. Which we'll get to.
I think the most disappointed figure from this wave for me as a kid was the Vega figure.
Yeah.
Vega was such a cool character in the game, and he had a good head sculpt, but he's just one of the Ninja Force guys, so he doesn't have the snake tattoo.
Yeah, what's his name? Bonsai, right?
He's Bonsai, yeah, and he didn't even come with his claw, which is like, that's his whole thing.
He comes with an axe, though.
Yeah, he has a whole bunch of gold weapons.
Also, his mask is like... not all on his... Like, it looks more like some guy dressed in a party mask.
Yeah.
And also, like, he's got, like, knives and swords just sculpted to him and everything. I always thought that was weird that they wrapped around, like, they're part of you. They're not, like, you know...
but they're curved with them.
But who, like, goes into a fight and has, like, 5 knives just all over your chest, you know what I mean? It's, like, weird.
Yeah, he was the one I was most disappointed with. I had, as a kid, I had Ryu, I had Blanca, I had Chun-Li, I had Dalsim. I think that was it.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of my buddies had a few more of them. Had Bison and Guile, because I remember playing with a bunch of them. He was the one that had Vega.
Yeah.
Like, I literally remember sitting on the swing set in 5th grade at my elementary school, talking about these figures. Like, over the weekend, we had gone to the stores, and I had found Dalsim, and he had found Guile or something like that, and talking about, you know, how disappointed we were that Vega didn't have the claw and stuff.
I had Dalsim, Blanca, Ryu. And Chun-Li I got Chun-Li way later, and I traded my friend for the Guile that came with the Sonic Boom Tank, the brown one.
Yeah.
I could never find Guile in the green. I always wanted that one. And then I ended up buying it way later, but I sold it because I needed money and stuff like that.
Guile might be one of the best figures in the whole line.
Yeah, he's definitely pretty cool. It looks like Guile. Also, the head sculpt is really good. They got his hair pretty good and everything. He looks cool.
He doesn't have any goofy G.I. Joe parts.
No, and I mean, he's, out of everybody, he's the one who you'd expect to have a gun. So I'll allow it, you know what I mean? Because where is he? Here we go. What does he come with? He has like the same
missile launcher.
Yeah, giant missile launcher. And then he has like 2 kind of like rifle.
He does have a sword though, right? Like
he has a knife, a big knife. But I mean, and he also has nipples. I just realized. But this was a step in the right direction. I can tell, like, you know, they basically just used a lot of parts that they had. But I mean, every G.I. Joe did that, like,
especially
until
at the end.
Way later. Yeah, even in the modern era ones, I remember.
By '93, a lot of the G.I. Joes in like Battle Corps, the top half is new, and the legs were just reused from somebody else.
The ones even they made a few years ago, the 25th line and the Pursuit of Cobra, they reused legs and body sculpts all the time. And I remember I could tell which ones were each one. I was big into his tank, so I was like going on and looking at it. Actually, someone on his tank, I forgot to bring it up in the Ninja Force, but they made all of the Ninja Force with the modern era ones, and someone also made the Street Fighters and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, I forget... I saw it like a few years back, but they made custom ones with the new G.I. Joes that looked amazing.
That's cool.
They were really cool. These were a really fun thing. I didn't understand where they fit in. Were they the Street Fighter people were helping G.I. Joe, or was it they were just a spin-off line? It was a little bit.
I personally never used them with my G.I.
With the other ones,
even though they said G.I. Joe on the package. I just looked at it as, okay, these are just my Street Fighter toys. I could see somebody playing with them. I mean, they work great with Ninja Force. Some of the guys are military-based. Bison could be a new bad guy. But I never really mixed them. My
friend had the Bison figure, and we would always make him... he teamed up with Cobra Commander and Destro and stuff like that, and he was like... But he only had Bison.
Oh, okay.
And that was it. And then I didn't have my figures by the time, so it was like...
Bison works good as like a standalone bad guy general.
Yeah.
You know?
He was pretty cool, and I mean, I guess because Duke is in the commercial, so it makes sense. But at the same time, like I honestly, what I did when I was a kid was I made whatever G.I. Joe figures that I had, other than them, I would just make them into another character from pretend it was like someone there or whatever. Because I know I had like the Ninja Force figures, so I would just make them like Dice. I made Vega or whatever stuff.
Like if he had Quick Kick, he makes a great Ryu.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he worked pretty well, and I mean some of them worked. They were pretty neato. They were just a fun idea, and it was just crazy seeing Street Fighter weird anything. You never saw that back then.
Capcom Street Fighter 2, Sonic Boom Tank, Crimson Cruiser, and Beast Blaster come with Championship Edition figures, each sold separately.
That's a lot of stuff!
Thanks for watching this super exciting, outrageous toy review. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check out our other videos.